Buccaneers. Today we're going to check out two new sets of Unmatched. They're both Marvel themed, and in this episode we're going to open Teen Spirit. And in part 2 we'll unbox for King and Country. Unmatched is my favorite game series, and I basically have all of them. These two are the final ones in the collection, for now. In Teen Spirit, it has Squirrel Girl, Cloak and Dagger, and Miss Marvel. This for ages 14 and up is for 2 to 3 players. It takes 20 to 40 minutes to play, and this is from Restoration Games. On the back, it tells you a little clever introduction of each character, and also it says, in battles there are no equals. Anyone, anywhere, Unmatched is a fast-paced game of tactical combat between unlikely opponents. Pick your favorite hero, choose a map, and use heroes' unique deck and abilities to win games. And then the contents are 4 characters, 8 sidekick tokens, 4 health dials, 93 cards, 3 scheme tokens, 3 combat tokens, and 1 game board instructions. Now let's open this. Over here they show the other Marvel sets, Hell's Kitchen and Redemption Row. Oh, it's a checklist. So over here it says Played and Won. I've definitely played all of them except Teen Spirit and then King and Country. And then over here is the Teen Spirit rulebook. Over here's the special rules for the set. It has Cloak and Daggers, Squirrel Girl, Miss Marvel, and then the battlefield items. Over here are the health dials for Squirrel Girl, Miss Marvel, and Cloak and Dagger. Over here are the battlefield items. Seems like the extra large slushie is gonna be OP. Recover 3 health. And over here's the Navy pyramid. The back, they start doing that circle so you can see some things extra. But personally, I like the original. I like the colors of the circles better. First, let's take a look at the minis and sidekicks. Over here's Miss Marvel. She has a big hand and a small hand. The back is okay. Squirrel Girl time. She has a big tail in the back and some squirrels on her. There's the big tail. And then her squirrels. And these are mini sidekick tokens because obviously they couldn't fit all of them in the small bag. Plus, they're squirrels. They're tiny, so they're meant to be small. Over here's Cloak. I think there are dead skulls in front of him for the void. There are the dead skulls. And very cloaky and bumpy. Over here's Dagger. It's a pretty plain figure, but not the worst. She does have that dagger in her hand for her name. Okay, now we're gonna look at the cards. Let's see Miss Marvel first. So Miss Marvel's melee with 14 health. Her power is stretchy. They start naming the powers. And then at the start of her turn, she can move 1 space, and then she can attack from 2 spaces away, ignoring cells. So basically, like Bullseye and Moon Knight. So it's a mix of 2 Marvel characters. And she moves too, so she can basically guarantee to attack anybody on her turn with her power and her movement. But she only has 14 health, so I hope she can recover. Before I show you these cards, the back artwork is pretty good. You can see her long stretchy hands though. And then there's a small hand doing absolutely nothing. I'm going to show you the cards. Over here's Big Windup, 4 value attack. During combat of Miss Marvel's, shares Miss Marvel's space shares no zones with the opposing fighter. You may boost this card. So your power is going to be helpful for that, and also moving. But mainly your power if you want to double attack. Okay, and over here's Easy Peasy. 3 value versatile. And then it says draw a card. Then if you have 4 or more cards in your hand, deal with damage to adjacent fighter. Over here's a big one. If Miss Marvel is in more zones than an opposing fighter, the value of this card is 6. Fangirl, the value of this card is equal to the number of cards in your hand. Friends and family, draw 2 cards. Then you may spend additional action to draw until you have 7 cards. So that's really good if you're at like 1 card. But this you only have 1 copy. For value boost though, Euros and Fries, recover 2 health. Then if you have 4 more cards in your hand, gain action. I'm not touching you. If Miss Marvel's space shares no zones with the opposing fighter, draw 2 cards. So Miss Marvel's deck is mainly about getting a lot of cards to resolve extra effects. The regular momentous shift. And then shrink, shrink, shrink. Choose 1 effect. If Miss Marvel's space shares no zones with the opposing fighter, do both. Either your opposing fighter discards a card or move the opposing fighter up to 3. I would mainly do the opposing fighter discards a card. And then the last one is Slingshot. Place Miss Marvel in any space in her zone. And that's Miss Marvel. She has a lot of unique cards. The only cards that we've seen before is the Fate and Momentous Shift. Now for Squirrel Girl. So her power is go nuts. At the start of your turn, summon a squirrel in a space adjacent to Squirrel Girl. Squirrels are small fighters. Do not start with any squirrels on the board. Squirrel Girl moves 2, melee with 13. The squirrels are melee, 8 different squirrels, each have 1 health. The back, I like the back of this. It even has an S, I didn't notice that. Bite of Steel for the squirrels. I forgot that the squirrels can attack. But it says during combat, if there are 4 or more squirrels in the opposing fighter's zone, the value of this card is 5 instead. Really powerful, but it says much improved over the Bite of Plush. I don't know what Bite of Plush is. Yeah. Call of the Wild, 2 value versatile. It says if there are 4 or more squirrels in the opposing fighter's zone, the value of this card is 4 instead. That is okay. It should be 5 or 6 as the changed card value, because that's really hard to get. Since I play tested this, putting down squirrels was pretty hard. But if you want combat, draw 2 cards. Dash. Move Squirrel Girl up to 3 spaces. It says Quicksilver, more like Slow Silver. Regular dash. You see this in Dracula's deck. Eat nuts. Squirrel Girl recovers 2 health. Summon a squirrel in a space adjacent to Squirrel Girl. It says this is a normal side effect of eating nuts. Are these squirrels talking? Fate, except normal fate for Squirrel Girl only. But it says not for the faint of heart. Another Squirrel Girl only attack. Fuzzball special. Move each squirrel up to 3 spaces. That's really good for the card that Call of the Mild, which you want 4 or more squirrels in the fighter's zone. So this is really good for that. Plus it's an attack. This one is get them tippy toey. Oh wait, get them tippy toe. Summon 2 squirrels in any space. This one's gonna be OP since it's for Squirrel Girl only, and you need to summon a lot of squirrels. Also says let's see them squirrel out of this. Also, the last one said something, but I'm not gonna read it. Let's not read every single one. Horde of squirrels. Choose a space with 4 or more adjacent squirrels to it. Deal 2 damage to a fighter in that space. For Squirrel Girl. Kick butts. 1 value attack for Squirrel Girl, but it says increase the value of this card by +1 for each squirrel adjacent to the opposing fighter. Here is Network of Spies. And it says, look at an opponent's hand, choose one card for them to discard. If one of the fighters is adjacent to 4 or more squirrels, choose 2 cards instead. But only one copy of this. Squirrelity moves Squirrel Girl up to 3 spaces. She may move 3 sidekicks. Do not count movement for spaces containing sidekicks. Squirmish. Summon a squirrel in Squirrel Girl space, then place Squirrel Girl in any space in her zone. Unbeatable Squirrel Girl. Immediately, if there are 4 or more squirrels adjacent to the opposing fighter, cancel all effects on your opponent's card and ignore its value. And that's it. That's Squirrel Girl's deck. So, time for Cloak and Dagger. This is the second character with more than 1 hero. This one has 2 heroes, both with 8 health and are melee. The other character with more than 1 hero is Raptors. They have 3, but each one has 7 health. They move 2, and then Cloak's power is Umbra. After you attack, if Cloak dealt at least 2 combat damage, your opponent discards a card. And then Refraction for Dagger is after you attack, if Dagger deals at least 2 combat damage, then gain an action. I personally like Dagger's power better than Cloak's power, but it's fine. The art on the back is pretty good. You can see Cloak and then Dagger. Cloak is way bigger than Dagger. Okay, first, Channel the Dark. It's any card, even though I think it should just be for Cloak, but it's fine. 2 value attack. And it says, if Cloak played this card, place the opposing fighter adjacent to Dagger and gain action. So over here, it's better if you attack with Cloak and not Dagger, but it's fine if you attack with either one. Here's Chosen Fate. Deal up to 4 damage to one of your fighters. Your other fighter recovers that amount of health. Draw 2 cards. So you can transfer the health right now, which could be very helpful. And Command Impact, we've seen this before. And there are 3 copies. Dark Force Dimension for Cloak, for value attack. Place the opposing fighter in any space your opponent discards a card. Cloak and Dagger have 1 unique card for each one. This Cloak special attack. Fate. This thing's attacking me. Fate. Normal Fate. Into Darkness. Choose one of the fighters in combat and move them up 3 spaces. 3 value versatile. Into the Void. You may boost this attack. Very simple 2 value attack. Kind of like Second Shot from Muldoon. And here's Dagger's special attack. This one I don't like as much, but it's still okay. 7 value attack. This card's effect cannot be canceled. If you want to combat, your fighter takes damage equal to the amount of damage you dealt. So basically, you're both taking the same amount of damage. So I don't really like this card, but there's 2 copies. 7 is tied for the highest value with So Kong, but it's the largest printed value. Living Shadow, 2 value any. If Dagger played this card, she swaps places with Cloak. Cloak is now the defender, and the value of this card is 4 instead. Really powerful. And then Perfect Balance. If Cloak and Dagger are both adjacent to the opposing fighter, the value of this card is 6 instead. The Living Light. If Cloak played this card to defend, Dagger recovers 2 health. If Dagger played this card to attack, Cloak recovers 2 health. I'd play this to defend, because if I attack with this, the opponent might faint and you want to recover. And then Traverse the Dark Force. After combat, move each of your fighters 2 spaces. And that's it. That's Cloak and Dagger's deck. We're going to do 2 live streams and come back with our final thoughts. We just did 2 live playthroughs, and here's my final thoughts. My favorite character from this set is probably Squirrel Girl, because the figure is really cool, and I like the mini squirrels that they have. My favorite card from her is probably for the squirrels is It's called Bite of Steel. It's a 2-value attack that lets you change it into a 5 if you have 4 more squirrels in the opposing fire zone, and only the squirrels can use it. So super cool. And they can also defend with another card. And I have many copies of that. So I like how the squirrels can attack. You can move through the squirrels can move through opposing fighters. It's really cool, and I hope they make more mini psychics in the future. My favorite card from Miss Marvel, this was my second favorite fighter. Mainly because they buffed her quite a lot, and now she's really fun. I guess my favorite card is one of the schemes, maybe Friends and Family, because it lets you restock your cards, and that's super powerful. So she's all about running away to get cards, and then running away to get to different zones. And it's really hard to get cards with her, so that really helps you replenish your whole deck. Not your whole deck, your whole hand. And Cloak and Dagger, even though they're my least favorite, they're still really good. All these fighters in here are really good. This is like one of my top 5 favorite sets, along with King and Country, which we'll unbox in the next video. But it already looks super cool. But Cloak and Dagger, I think I like Dagger more since she's more offensive. But I also like Cloak, but I like being more attacking. My favorite Dagger card is the 7-value attack. And then my favorite Cloak card, okay, well, I don't really have my favorite card for Cloak, but I also like the card The Living Light, and also The Living Shadow, because those two benefit Dagger and Cloak in certain circumstances. Okay, the map is also really cool. I like for all the Marvel sets how they're putting all those tokens on the board. If this looks fun to you, you can purchase it in the link in the description. Bye!